Today's video is going to be a bit different, as you can tell from the title. I recently made a switch from console to PC, and here's why. So one day I was getting bored and looked up budget builds because I was always interested in getting a gaming PC, and I always knew it was better to build it rather than buy it pre-built, although both options were fine. So ultimately I found a budget build and tweaked it a bit, and instead of getting an i3, I got an Intel i5 7600K processor, 8 gigs of RAM, an RX 470 with 4 gigs of VRAM, and a micro ATX motherboard. So after ordering the case and all the components I needed, the power supply, and a monitor, I got to building. Now mind you, building a PC for the first time was difficult for me because I am rather slow. It took me about 5 hours to get it all together, and when I tried to boot it up, it wasn't starting. So I was devastated at first, but kept going, and that's when I took it all apart and put it back together again. And that took me 30 minutes because I knew where to go. And bada bing, bada boom, it started. And I felt like I built Frankenstein. But regardless, I plugged the USB in that I had to have an operating system installed and let it run, and boom, Windows was installed. The first thing I did was get Steam, log in, and download some games. My first game was Skyrim, and man oh man, seeing the special edition at 1080p 60 frames was phenomenal. I couldn't believe my fucking eyes. Now, I don't want to stroke my dick here too hard, but I really liked the way it looked. This got me thinking, I can really adjust any game to my liking. I could achieve 1080p 60 frames as long as it was optimized, and I guess, sacrifice graphics to achieve a higher frame rate. Now, this got me feeling like the sky was the limit. I could really play any game I wanted at any settings I wanted. And this made me think, Sony, their machine sounds like it's going to kill itself running 2K17, which in my honest opinion doesn't seem like a very intensive game. We're just playing basketball here. So I got to thinking, Sony is pretty much the Apple of the console market. Now, let me explain. Apple is very anti-consumer. I won't get into that. Maybe I'll make a video on it later, but Apple is very anti-consumer. And Sony, in a way, is anti-consumer. How? Well, one example is they rejected EA Access because, quote-unquote, the program didn't seem to give value to the PlayStation gamer. Or they didn't seem to give enough value. In case you guys don't know what EA Access is, EA Access is a monthly subscription service, or yearly, where you pay $5 or $30 a year, so $5 a month or $30 a year, and what you would get is all EA games, developed and published by EA. You would get all the games from EA for paying that subscription service, and you can download them onto your Xbox One or PC and play them. And you may be thinking, is that it? No. On top of that, you also get a 10% discount on all the expansions and even the full games. So DLC and expansions 10% off, the full game 10% off. On top of that, you also get the game a week early. So Mass Effect Andromeda, EA Access players get that game a week early. I don't know where the fuck that doesn't scream great fucking value, the fact that you get all EA games downloaded onto your Xbox One or PC, and if you wanted to have the full game so that way it didn't tie into the streaming service, you could buy it 10% off along with the DLC for 10% off. You also get the game a week early. I mean, I don't know about you, but that screams fucking amazing to me. But regardless, it wasn't approved. I think Sony has some fucking balls to be saying that. Because, I'm sorry, charging me $60 a year to pretty much play with my friends, that $60 could have gone to another game or two. But no, I have to pay for their subscription service. Now, some of you will say, they use that to keep the servers up. Or, give us the deals that PlayStation Plus gamers get. Sony directly pockets that money. It doesn't go back into the servers. So, on top of Sony being greedy and pocketing the money, it stops me from playing with my friends. And on PC, it doesn't stop me. I don't have a reason to pay $60 a year to play with my friends on the games I already paid for. The idea of paying to game with my friends was just old. Enough of that shit. Ultimately, I learned that PC is the better option. Now, don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with playing on a console. If you want to buy a console, play with your friends, please, go ahead. If your friends are predominantly on console, there's nothing wrong with that. But just know, yes, it is a bit more expensive. The initial plunge is a bit more expensive, but in the long haul, you'll save much more. You can get your games from anywhere to key reselling sites, pirating it, or getting on Steam. PC is also the most flexible platform, and I can back that up with you can get your games anywhere. You can also either use keyboard and mouse for PC games or use a controller, because some games do support that. And if the games don't support that, you can use what's known as XPadder, where your controller, you can just, set up your controller to mimic, keyboard and mouse settings. And boom, you're playing the game with a controller because of XPadder, which is free, mind you. Ultimately, there's unlimited options you can have with PC, and I feel more comfortable here. This is my multimedia center. I'll probably still keep the PS4 to record gameplay or until I can figure out how to record gameplay on my PC. Other than that, I say I'm glad I made the switch. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Give me your thoughts. This was a bit more off my head type of rant because, there's really nothing to research here. It's just me buying something that I prefer. Other than that, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.